and welcome to today's episode of the SFTG podcast. I am Hubert A. Shorter, and I'm here every once in a while to talk about the good and the great in the world of Geek. So let's get straight into it with the first story. Diablo 4 was officially announced at BlizzCon 2019. While rumors of the title circulated for some time, Blizzard finally revealed it's working on the next Diablo entry and has since given us some more details. From gameplay to enemies and potential characters, here's what we know about Diablo 4 so far. Does it have a release date? No. What's the gameplay like? Well, it's pretty much like Diablo 3 if you've played that before, and if you haven't, why not? Probably one of the greatest games ever made. There are 3 classes that we know of: the Barbarian, the Sorceress, and the Druid. There are 2 classes that they are keeping secret for now. Why? I don't know. It's a secret, but there you go. Characters look pretty much like what they looked like in Diablo 3. In fact, based on the gameplay that I've seen, it looks a lot like the old game, but clearly I'm sure there are things that are going to be slightly different. One big issue is, of course, microtransactions. Are there going to be any in the game? Now, according to the story, and I'm quoting, Diablo 4 will be available as a base game and we're going to have expansions. You also will have the ability to acquire cosmetics in the game. In other words, microtransactions. So yes, unfortunately, they are going to be there. Now, that aside, I'm sure everyone's looking forward to it because it's such a huge game. Will I be playing it at some point, whenever it comes out? Absolutely. The coronavirus pandemic has forced many companies to embrace work-from-home solutions. For some, it's become permanent. Apparently, several big businesses plan to let as much of their staff work from home as possible. And we're talking about some of the biggest tech companies that are out there. The list is as follows. Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg said that as many as 50% of Facebook employees could be working remotely within the next 5 to 10 years. CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, has said that some of his workforce will continue working from home forever. And he's also repeated that for his other company called Square. Shopify has basically said that office centricity is over. And Box, everyone's favorite online storage company, its CEO, Aaron Levy, wrote in a blog post that the company's nearly 2,000 employees are free to work from anywhere until the end of 2020. Now, my interpretation of this is, of course, a common sense one. If anything, this pandemic has shown us that work practices need to change. And of course, they will change now forever. So that actually, as far as I'm concerned, is a good thing. The latest edition of PlayStation's State of Play livestream focuses on The Last of Us Part 2. With less than a month before the sequel's release, Naughty Dog and Sony are sharing more about the highly anticipated continuation of Joel and Ellie's post-apocalyptic saga. Now, they have revealed some more information about the game, which includes the following. Not everything, but some key elements. The first is that it picks up several years after the events of the first game, after they settle, that's Joel and Ellie, in the relatively peaceful settlement in Jackson, Wyoming. Ellie's now 19, and the game will cover expansive parts of the world, including real-life locations. Now, along with jumping, Ellie will be able to use ropes to traverse a more open and expansive map or find hidden secrets. And horses and boats will also help Ellie traverse the larger maps. I had to say that very carefully. Anyway, there's a lot more information in the State of Play video, which I'm sure you can find on YouTube. So please check it out. Sony is reportedly planning a PlayStation 5 digital event for as early as next week, kicking off other events that will take place over the coming weeks and months. As reported by Bloomberg, people with direct knowledge of the matter, whatever that means, have said the virtual event could take place on June the 3rd, but also cautioned that plans have been in flux and that the date may change, which is hardly surprising considering what's going on in the world right now. Of course, Sony is expected to reveal everything about the PlayStation 5. Now, we've seen the controller. Not everyone's impressed by that because they're judging a book by the cover. And everyone wants to see what the actual console looks like. And if essentially it's going to kick Microsoft's butt. Sort of. Anyway, no doubt that this thing is going to be carried on the PlayStation Network and all over the YouTube. So do please make sure you're watching whenever they decide to broadcast it. Of course, the entire gaming world is split into 3 camps: PlayStation, Xbox, PC. Some people belong to all 3. Some people don't. Anyway, this is our last story. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can email me at sftgpodcast@gmail.com. You can download this episode via Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts. You can follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Pinterest. Just search for Sci-Fi Geeks. You'll find us. And I will see you next time. My name is Hubert A. Shorter, and until then, be good to yourselves and each other.